then we're here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. You are very kind to come. With Mr. Martin is the man who so ably represents him, Mr. Benjamin CRUMP. We're pleased that you could be with us as well. The co-chair of the caucus has arrived, and I should ask him if he wants to say opening words at the hearing, at this event.
Thank you very much. The only thing that I really need to say is to thank, first of all of the members of the caucus, and I want to thank you for being the inspiration and part of the reason that we have established this caucus. I want to thank all of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus and other members of Congress who have joined and are in fact attempting to have the caucus function in such a way that we end up with not only looking at problems but generating results. And then I want to thank our esteemed group of panelists who have joined us. Particularly do I think of two gentlemen that I've worked with for a number of years, a former member of this body, former chairman of this caucus actually, the Honorable Hume, and of course my good friend from Chicago, although he has moved to a lot of other different places, but I think he still calls Chicago home, and that's Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, who is also with us. And I think Mr. Johns, who has a tremendous responsibility of guiding an initiative that deals with education and African American historical institutions. And of course, Mr. Martin, we thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. We also commend you for the dignity that you have displayed, you and other members of your family, throughout this ordeal. And you are a guiding principle for many of us and for many people in America who love their country, but they also love justice, who love their country, but they also want equal protection under the law. And so with that, Madam Co-Chair, please go right ahead.
Well, I thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. My co-chair has been a leader on black men in this Congress, and particularly on black men and boys who have been incarcerated and other issues facing black men. Now, we just want to just start at the beginning with black boys and then move on up and have three distinguished men talk about their lives. So we begin with David Johns, and we're very pleased that the Executive Director for African Americans, for Excellence for African Americans, has joined us from the White House. He has worked for Obama for America, but perhaps even more relevantly, he was a senior education advisor for the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. Very pleased to begin with David Johns and to thank him for coming to testify before us today.
Madam Co-Chair, if it's okay, I want to yield a few minutes of my time to Mr. CRUMP to ask a couple of questions.
Excuse me?
If it's okay with you, I'd like to yield a couple of minutes of my time. He has two quick questions he'd like to ask that will frame our discussion.
By all means, Mr. CRUMP.
Thank you, Congresswoman. As Mr. Martin said, President Obama comments invited us to start the conversation, and I think the conversation starts with two critical questions. And the first question is to the Department of Justice to answer the question, can a private citizen with a 9mm gun profile our children, get out of his car and follow our children and confront our children. The U.S. Supreme Court doesn't even let the police profile based on race alone. So we need to have that question answered so we'll know what to tell our children. And if that answer is yes, we need to know so we can tell our children. And if it's no, then we want to know, especially Ms. Sabrina Fulton and Mr. Tracy Martin, will the killer of their child be held accountable for the civil rights violations upon Tracy and Sabrina's son? And then secondly and finally, the foundation is working to ask the question of the Trayvon Martin Act, and that is a very common sense legislation. We believe there should be an amendment to this stand your ground law that simply says you cannot be the initial aggressor, you cannot start the confrontation, you cannot pick the fight and then shoot the person and put your hands in the air and say, I was standing my ground, because there's a precedent set that will have a terrible effect on little black and brown boys if we don't speak to the issue. So I ask those questions, and I know we have these able experts to help us, but these are two questions that are heavy on the hearts of the parents of Trayvon Martin. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Some of us believe that stand your ground laws are such a clear and present danger to African American boys and men that the only remedy should be to roll back these laws, beginning with the state of Florida. I understand the difficulties in Florida, but you ask profound questions, some of them with legal underpinning. I'm going to ask Mr. Johns if he would testify this time.
Yes, ma'am.